right, you either know me of one of two ways. You either know me because of the Stormtrooper, or you know me because of my wonderful wife, who started this whole thing of dark speed. I like to call myself the personality hire, but no, in all actuality, I am Skyland's husband, or just the husband. And yeah, let's talk about my car. So, this is a 2007 Audi A4. We'll go all the way back to the beginning. This is actually my first car I've ever owned and the only car I've ever owned. I bought it when I was about 15 and a half, 16, and apparently I have what my wife calls reverse commitment issues because I can't get rid of it. It has seen many of different stages, anywhere from obviously stock to the classic plasticated black wheels and LED headlights in high school, all the way up to what you see today. Let's start with why it's called Stormtrooper. For those of you that do know me, you know I am a huge Star Wars nerd. And I fell in love with the Stormtroopers when I was really young. Not sure why, because obviously they always miss and they're always the first ones to get killed. But I just loved the way they had like that really sleek, shiny white armor. And so I kind of wanted to replicate my car off of that kind of styling. The aggressive yet clean look to it. So first things first, the wide body. My favorite part of the car, obviously. The wide body is actually the first ever wide body kit for an Audi B7. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me and say like, oh, but what about the people who have like RS4s or RS4 look kits or the universal flares or custom flares that they put on the car? Those are absolutely wide bodies, don't get me wrong. So the better way to say it is probably the first ever wide body kit for a B7. It was the first one ever made specifically designed for the B7, minus the RS4 looks. So I worked with a company back in 2018, formerly known as Carbon Pixels, now known as Krotov Pro. Link below, Instagram, whatever. And they had actually not developed a wide body kit yet. They were just developing flares and stuff. So I reached out to them and I kind of came up with this idea. I'd actually drawn out and done this very poor Photoshop to try to build what I wanted. So I worked with the company to kind of bring my idea to life. So it was a really cool process getting to actually draw up what I was wanting, kind of help with the CAD work that they did here. I would like to try to pronounce the name, but I'm probably going to butcher it, so here. But yeah, and then they brought my idea to life, and it was such a cool experience getting to do all of that. Yeah, so first ever wide body B7. That was not a part of my car. That is a mic. Although I am afraid to hit this car a little too hard, things will fall off. I will not be touching my car again. All right, moving on. My wheels. So, if you've seen any of the wonderful Pandem Cayman videos, you know that my wife is on Revolves, and you may know the backstory of my Revolves. So these are my Revolve RS 378s. I remember scrolling through Instagram one day and they popped up on my feed. I had never heard of Revolve wheels or anything. They just happened to go on that Explore tab. I fell in love with these wheels specifically. I was like, I need to have these. These are perfect for what I'm looking for this car. It gives that kind of sci-fi look that I want to go with to match the whole Stormtrooper Star Wars aesthetic. But yeah, so I fell in love with them. However, I was also falling in love with my girlfriend at the time and obviously wanted to propose. So I put the wheels on the back burner. I was like, you know what? I'll get wheels eventually. It's fine. My previous set of wheels failed on me. We'll leave that there. And so my girlfriend, who is now my wife, was like, hold off on the engagement. Like, I know we're getting married. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Buy the wheels. So obviously I have the coolest and greatest wife in the world, which if you're on this channel, you already know that's true. But so ended up buying the wheels and everything. Rob over at Revolve Wheels again. Revolve Wheels. Rob is the best. Rob hooked us up, specifically me up, perfectly for this car. The fitment is exactly what I wanted. When I air out, I've got that nice right on the tire, but like if you look at it straight down, you can see the lip of the wheel and everything, and then it's perfectly in the rear. It's exactly the look I was going for. he was awesome, worked with me during COVID and everything. It's fantastic. All right, moving on. All right, a little bit more about the specs of my wheels, because we do not gatekeep wheel specs here at Dark Speed. The fronts, 19 by 11.5 minus 3 with 285 35s. And then on the rear, I'm running 19 by 12.5. So some big boys, minus 10s with 305 35 tires in the rear. I'm running the Nitto NT 555s. They are awesome tires, love them, and they're so meaty too, and I love that meaty look, especially from the rear. Just oof, so nice. Moving on, I have a very interesting rear end, one might say. Yeah, you heard that right. I have an interesting rear end. Anyways, you'll notice a couple of things about the rear of this car that are a little bit different. So let's start with the ducktail. This is actually the first ever ducktail built specifically for the B7. As you can tell, I love to do things first. I have a problem. That's besides the point. It was built with a company that formerly known as Wider Diff Split is now known as Wido Kits. Again, right here, they've got some amazing wide body kits, especially for new Jeeps and Durangos and stuff like that, like the Jeep Trackhawks. Awesome stuff. Definitely go check them out. So I worked with them to build this custom ducktail. It's exactly the way I wanted it to look. Very aggressive, yet again, that sleek look. And of course, had to go with the carbon fiber, because who doesn't love carbs for hire? Now, another thing that you may notice about the rear is the rear diffuser. Now, if you have been following me before, you may have seen my old videos and stuff about this, but it is a Lexus IS rear diffuser. Yes, I put a Lexus diffuser on my car. Cut it up with my buddy Matt and got it to fit just honestly unbelievably well for what it was. So love the aggressive fins on the back. It was the kind of look I wanted to go for. Couldn't find anything that worked for my car and decided I wanted to try to see if I could create something myself. So yeah, it's got a Lexus rear diffuser. And then I went with some very aggressive exhaust tips. It's definitely not everybody's taste. It was something I wanted to do. I like the way, from certain angles, it shapes the rear of the car, that very aggressive outward look with the fins and the ducktail and everything. I think it kind of molds together the way I wanted it to look. Again, got that done at Ouroboros Fab. Awesome place. I'm not sure they do much car stuff anymore. I think they're pretty much just aero and nautical engineering, if I remember correctly now, which is awesome. But Nate over at Ouroboros Fab was just fantastic. The welds on these are just second to none. It looks fantastic. All right, last but not least, yes, the car is wrapped. It was white before, and I wrapped it white. Yeah, I understand how that sounds. When I redid the body kit the second time around to get to where we're at now, I wanted to fix a lot of the imperfections in the paint, and I wanted to fix a lot of the imperfections in the body kit. Just a lot of things, so we had to use a lot of primer and sanding and all this kind of stuff. And I was looking at it, and I wasn't super happy with how the paint was done before. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go a new route, and I went with a wrap. And the wrap has held up now for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years, which is awesome. So it's Avery Dennison, gloss white. My buddies at Forged Auto Styling did the wrap. They did an unbelievable job. So shout out to them. They're based out of Colorado, so unfortunately I don't get to see them too much anymore. But they did an awesome job with this wrap. They killed it. So obviously, this is going to be a car that you're probably going to see here and there on the YouTube channel from here on out. Probably not super often. Obviously, you'll see the Cayman more than anything else. I do have some future stuff that I really want to do to the car, especially like the interior, needs some help. Fix some stuff on the exterior again. Just dial it into where I want it to be. But for the time being, that's not where we're going to go next. We've got a new build coming soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm not giving out any information on it. I'm not giving anything away other than if you thought this was crazy and you thought the Cayman was crazy, just you'll see. But coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee, I'm Liam. And I'm your new favorite person at dark speed. Is that good?